it up. Hey, raise it up. Why? Raise it up. Raise it up. Why? Hey, raise it up. Hey, raise it up. Why? Raise it up. Raise it up. Why? Raise it up. North side, raise it up. South side, raise it up. East side, raise it up. The west side, raise it up. 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 North side, raise it up. South side, raise it up. East side, raise it up. The west side, raise it up. 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 Raise it up.
Hey loves, hey loves, hey loves. I feel like I just saw you. I did just see you. This is how we do our 13th episode. It's a little less prescribed than most of our episodes. We are still on the last Thursday of the month, because the last Thursday of the month is also the last Thursday of the year, and that's kind of our thing. We put out our 13th episode on the last Thursday of the year. Of course, this year, it happens to be that the last Thursday of the year is also the last Thursday of the month. So here you all get this back-to-back thing. I'm not going to keep y'all here forever. Forever, ever? Forever? No, I'm not keeping y'all here forever. But in case y'all don't know who I am, the voice you're hearing, if you are listening on Apple Podcasts or Stitcher or anywhere else that you hear podcasts, the voice that you're hearing is coming from YN Vaughn, also known as Y. This is your 13th episode of 2020 for the podcast Raise It Up, Y. Okay? And if you are watching me on YouTube, hola, ¿cómo está usted? Man, I'm happy. I'm happy to see you all. And I'm happy, to see this camera and virtually kind of see you all. This has kind of been a theme in 2020. Mm-hmm. So, what we did last year in 2019 on our 13th episode, we strung together and all along a 3-hour kind of give you all of the jewels that you would ever think you wanted to hear from a chick from the West Side like YN Vaughn. And we have that on YouTube exclusively for you. That is over 3 hours of content. I suggest if you all want to hear a bunch of YN's words of wisdom, just giving you in game and dropping positivity and gems to you or your loved ones, if you just at the end of the year and you want to hear something like that, I suggest you go back to that episode and listen down. It gives you episodes 1 through 12 and an additional 13th YN's words of wisdom for 2019. Here in 2020, I want to do something a little bit different. Kind of stringing along what we've talked about, Chris and I, if you saw episode 25 that was taped moments ago, you'll know that we talked about the concept of what about your friends, okay? And just who you call your friends, and are they real people in your life that can take you when you're at your highest high or your lowest low or anywhere in between? Are they the people who you've attracted to you when you were your most authentic, guarded down, vulnerable version of yourself? Are those the types of individuals that you have around you? If so, those are people who reflect you truly. They are real mirrors to you while you're going through this life, learning yourself. Something I heard Chris say in the episode, talking about, I'm a work in progress. I'm still, he was kind of having a stream of thought, and he happened to interject, I'm a work in progress. I think that's a piece of any of our stories that we really need to hold on to. We're all works in progress. The second you got this is the day you stop breathing. So long as you have air in your lungs and the capacity to take more in and let some other stuff out, you will continue to be a work in progress. Abraham Hicks, an energy worker that I follow, says it doesn't get done, and therefore you can never get it wrong while you're in this lifetime, because your work is always ever going and everlasting. Trust me, as you're developing yourself, the whole concept of 2020's podcast, all of the YN's words of wisdom, all of the get raised, raise them ups and high Ys that we did here, It was for the big purpose of the first reason that we talk about we made this podcast. We say Raise It Up Why is where OGs get to kick game to real ones only. And we use non-corny positivity to raise a few things in your lives. We like to raise your self-awareness. It's the first thing we talk about. Go to @RaiseItUpWhy on any of our platforms if you don't believe me, all right? We like to raise your self-awareness. We also raise your vibrations and your capacities for love, which is just knowledge. And we do all of this using hip hop, all right? In 2020, we played on the idea, a lot of people did, but we played on the idea of vision. 2020 vision, perfect vision. And the way we spun that topic was, what's the purpose of looking at everything with a clear view if when you look in the mirror, things are tricky? You don't see exactly what you think you see. Objects are closer or farther than they appear. A lot of us, just people in general, I think we know who we are and what we are. But like 2020 showed us, a lot of our true selves got revealed to us when the circumstances that have always been rock steady became as elusive as water. Everything we thought we knew as a country, as a world, as a human race in some cases, as a people, got tested. Some of the people we love a lot didn't see today. They won't see 2021. Some of the people that we wish wouldn't see 2021, motherfuckers is rocking. You know what I mean? it's this life is so unpredictable. And in all of its unpredictability, it's pretty gorgeous at the same time. But that's because that's the way that I look at things. And I think this podcast, like Chris said a moment ago, it comes from this off-brand brain, if you will, that kind of sees the world from a pretty unique perspective. And I want, when you all listen to this podcast, that I would hope that it would give you a little bit of this, different than what you're used to take on life, especially coming from someone who looks like me, talking to people who are as beautiful as you, whoever has these ears on this podcast today and right now. While we talked about living in the moment, something that Chris was also talking about, we talked about living in the moment versus kind of planning for the future. A lot of us made plans, I saw some posts on social media that said for 2015, if somebody said, what was your 5-year plan? All of us are fucked. You know what I'm saying? No one saw this 2020 coming. Even in 2017, what's your 3-year plan? Like, no one saw this year coming. And that's why it can start to feel really frustrating when you make plans just to see like the weirdness of life that can happen that seemingly thwarts those plans. I think also there's another beautiful side to having plans and goals and things like that. And I want to talk to you all about that today in what I'm doing. I'm only doing 2 things on this very small podcast that we got going. One is a do-a-ditty that will appear at the end of this. Chris said something really pertinent about Chris Cadenhead, I keep referring to. If you guys are only looking at episode 26, go back and look at episode 25 and you'll wonder why I keep saying Chris. But he said something really pertinent about looking at today versus where we're going in our futures and what we're doing and when we plan it in our futures. It's a really dope juxtaposition that life kind of ends up making us learn our balance in, which is how do we live in the moment and experience the fullness of our every single moment, breaths, life-having, life-giving moments. How do we get to experience these moments and also have a sense of where we think we're going for the future. It's a beautiful tug of war that makes life, okay? In 2020, with all the self-awareness that we explored with a lot of our titles, episode 14, how do I raise my self-awareness? Episode 15, well, what does love have to do with it? Episode 17 with my brother was about time management and how do I improve myself in that way? Where do I see myself? How do I prioritize my time? Each of these episodes, you guys can go look at them. They're all right there in that playlist on YouTube or anywhere that you're absorbing this podcast. You look at the topics and everything was really focused on the individual all the way up to episode 25, where we're looking at not just the individual, but who and what surrounds each individual, right? Because the people that we keep around us reflect back to us what we've done with our energy, with our self-development, with our self-awareness. Because as I understand it, this universe tends to only bring you back what frequency you're on and what you put out. So if you're getting a bunch of naysayers and critical people coming back into your life, those are funhouse mirrors. Well, no, stop. They actually might be real mirrors showing you what you're attracting back to you on the regular. If these are the people that are coming around you in your job, in your personal life, at the club, at the gym, wherever, if everybody happens to be a naysayer, if everybody happens to be negative, if everybody happens to be materialistic, if everybody is a gold digger, it might take some self-reflection and say, okay, hold up. What frequency am I plucking? I need to know, because what's coming back to me and what I desire are two separate things. So there's some ambivalence going on there that you would have to fine tune what frequency you think you want from and for yourself. For this particular Raise Them Up, I wanted to talk about your goals. Next year is coming, literally in hours. And a lot of us try to focus at the top of the year, right? We focus on what we think we want to see out of ourselves, different than what we've done in previous years or previous months, or maybe refocusing ourselves on something that we kind of fell off of, whichever. But we have these goals, all right? I need you to know something about a goal. If you're a math person like I am, goals equal your dreams, your desires, deep desires, plus actionable planning to get to those desires. If you say, yeah, I have a goal to lose some weight, or I have a goal to put out 2 projects this year, and then March comes, you say that on January 1st, and then March comes, and you've spent all of your time on social media or in a gym, let's say, if we're going with the storyline of I want to put some music out, I want to put out content, I want to put out some, you spend all your time in a gym, you spend all your time on social media, here June comes, you started a cooking fetish off and you've been, selling pies and cakes and pastas to everybody that you know, making really good money for it. And then September comes and you have some profitable money and you got into real estate. Notice that you're not having a bad life, but the goal that you set for yourself has now become a dream, because I want to put out music. I want to put out 2 projects in 2021. That was just words. It was just an idea with no actionable planning to get to that dream. It's not a goal. It's not a goal. Another important thing I want to talk about with goals, seeing that the top of the year, again, is a time where we generally as a nation refocus. As a people, we kind of refocus. It's new, right? The important thing also about goals is that it tells us where to aim ourselves. Goals are important because they're like targets. If you are a marksman and you are a sharpshooter, you like, to go hunting or things like that. When you go out, you don't go out with your gun and a bunch of ammo dressed in camo and saying, yeah, you know what? I'm ready to shoot. Oh, okay, right. What are we shooting today? Man, trees? Wait, what? No, what are we shooting today? Anything we see moving, man. Shoot, air molecules and shit. Huh? No, what are we hunting? AKA, what is the goal? What is the aim? I mean, no, not the aim. What is the target? Because if we are duck hunting, I'm not going to aim at an alligator. I'm aiming at ducks. If we are deer hunting, I'm not going to aim at an elephant. I don't know where elephants and deer hang out, but don't worry about that. I'm going to aim at my goal, at my target. All that sounds cute in the abstract. What about, I want to get really serious about this person I'm dating. I think I might want to even settle down and marry this person. That sounds like a goal. An actionable piece to that goal, the dream, the desire might be, let me make sure I got my shit together. Let me make sure I got my credit score up. So if I want to go buy a house, I could. Let me make sure I got savings. Let me make sure I got the ring sizes together. Let me make sure I've talked to the proper parties to get the proper approval. If that's something that you do in your culture, you have actionable pieces that get you to that goal. I don't think if you want to take someone seriously and you're thinking about marrying them, that every time you go out to the studio or every time you go out to the club or every time you're on social media, you're blowing up everybody that you think is attractive's DMs. Or when you're in the club, you grinding up on everybody or everything that seems appealing to you. If you want a particular goal, there are certain actions that get you to that dream. If you don't set some form of a goal for yourself, how would you even know what the action pieces look like? How would you know where to aim? A third and final thing I wanted to say in this Get Raised about goals and what that can look like for you, especially just with the embarking upon a new year and things like that. Having a goal is very motivating and it sets intention. I also was taught about intentions, though, that good intentions especially pave the road to hell. What do I mean by that? An intention is something that you set up. It's you, your intentions, your desires, what you think you're going to do, what you think you're going to do. There's another piece that can be involved when it comes to putting your life into motion. Chris alluded to this. I don't think he ever said this, but Chris alluded to this when he was talking in his episode a moment ago. Alongside intention, if you're tuned in, tapped in, and turned on, you'll also find a thing called inspiration. Inspiration is divinity-led movement. It doesn't mean that you don't set a goal. It just means that you don't worry about how you're getting to it. Because when inspiration is involved, you will get a certain divine impulse. Divine meaning whoever you believe in, however you believe. We don't judge here at Raise It Up Why. We don't do that in 13 culture and all this different stuff. If you know about me, you know about me. What I'm saying is, when you feel inspired by something bigger than yourself that connects all of humanity to itself, if you're tapped in, tuned in, and turned on, as Abraham Hicks would say, you start to move certain ways, not that you've planned for yourself, but that still promote progress towards things that you've desired for yourself. It's ego-less action towards your dreams. You're still achieving your goal. It's still actionable, but it's inspired by something from deep within you. And it's not always the motivating things that you think you want to do, but rather wisdom that comes from beyond the beyond, letting you know, hey, I know that you said you wanted to do this to get to your goal, but I'm telling you, you might want to do that. And I'll give you an example and we'll be up out of here after you all get some do-a-diddy into yourself. For someone like myself, I've enjoyed keeping my health journey together by way of jogging, by way of cardio, by way of walking. It makes me come down real nice and I get the plow, bow, wow, I'm in the mix, you understand? I get looking right, trust me and believe me. And it's an amazing, amazing thing. And I feel very, very accomplished when I beat my second mile in the time that I run it. But as I progress in my health journey, age included and things of that nature, certain things like my joints and my knees, they don't love when I jog no more. And by way of my chiropractor, he said, how about you just walk real fast, why? I said, well, ain't that a bitch? So in my head, the way I plan my goal for my health journey, I say, I want to lose weight. I want to be a certain type of style. I want to do this and that. And I want to do it by jogging. I want to do it by walking. That's the way that I did it last time in 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014. I want to do that now, 2020 and 2021. Guess what? My body and God speaking to me through each of my cells. So I call it a soulecular level. On a soulecular level, each of my cells is living, and it is living. It has its own divinity with God beyond my understanding. My body told me, baby, we're going to need you to do a little bit of what the chiropractor said, which is walk in a way that, doesn't hurt our joints and things like that. But at the same time, we need you to do some yoga. Like my body screams for yoga now. And guess what? While I'm not coming down in the way that I thought and losing weight by way of a number, my clothes is fitting right. The curves sitting right. My little chisels from doing little downward facing dogs that half y'all wish y'all could see me in. Oh yes, got the bitch looking right. And I only say that and I'm laughing with it so that it doesn't feel so serious. I'm just saying there are some divinely inspired words of wisdom that regardless of what my intentions were for myself, they considered things that I hadn't considered. Like, oh, right, in 2010, I was 10 years younger. In 2011, I was 10 years younger than I am right now. And guess what? My body had a different type of makeup then. So what worked for me then worked for me then. What's wrong with discovering what works for me now? Hello. You understand that? So I want you all to know, while you're coming upon a new year, ladies and gentlemen, goals, no problem with them. Actually, they're really, really good for you. Make sure you're doing it without your ego, though, okay? Keep your ego in check so that when knowledge deeper than you attempts to give you messaging, you don't block it with, no, I said I wanted to, I said I'm going to, I want. That's how you fuck around and get injuries. That's how you mess around and fall sick and you're not able to do what you want to do for quite some time. Listen to your body, okay? It's literally telling you stuff. And that's just one example. Listen to your inner you. Books on that include Dr. Russell Clayton's The Greater You, It's a great book. Shouts out to my boy Mike Walls. That is his mentor that he allowed me to do my first and his first book swap with back in 2018. But it's a book that kind of helps call me back into focus when my shit look a little fuzzy. All right? And there are a lot of other books. We can talk about that in further episodes. But I just wanted to give y'all a little bit of something to chew on, while you go into this year. And finally, setting up the do-a-diddy that's coming after this. Chris talked about forgiveness is never about the other person that you think you need to forgive. No, honey. Forgiveness is always and forever will be about you as the individual. You. Recognizing that when you forgive, you're letting yourself off the hook for whatever transgressions, for whatever energy, and whatever situation came before, and whatever situation that you're looking to be relieved of. And we have a whole beautiful final piece to our TVOR, the voice of reason. I was going to say the voice of recognition. That's hilarious. TVOR, the voice of reason, visionary affirmations release that we did in July 2020. Actually, July 31st. So literally, 5 months ago to the day that this comes out. Just letting you all know, we're going to play that for you here in case you weren't able to listen to it other places. You don't have to move. Yo, make sure you allow yourself space to not judge you for some of the situations that you don't realize you're leaving yourself on the hook about. Okay, ladies and gentlemen? This has been an amazing year. This has been the way that it went so fast, I can't even fathom still right now. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for giving us time with you and you with us. We appreciate you. Please be good to your loved ones. Hug and kiss on them. For me, if you don't do it for you, do it just because. Blessings to all of those who've gone on in my family and yours. They are never forgotten and always loved on. We look to see you on the last Thursday of each of the months in 2021. And as always, we help you stay real, y'all. Much love. Happy New Year.
Raise it up, why? Raise it up. Raise it up, why? Raise it up. Hey, raise it up, why? Raise it up.